And the first one we'll start there, if we look at 2025, is you want to start with the end in mind. So when we come to that, what's your goal? How much money do you want to make? And like, how much do you want to work and how much do you want to sacrifice? So you might think that's a weird terminology to think about, but health, wealth, relationships, we actually spoke this before, Simon, like at some point you have to sacrifice something to get to the next level. So how much are you willing to put into this, depending how big your goal is and where you're currently at? And I'd say if you're at the beginning phases of your business, and I mean this in all due respect, you have the eat shit phase at the beginning. Ryan spoke about yesterday how he was doing community service about 1 million hours, training people all day, which I could really relate to because I worked full-time as a estate agent doing like 67 hours a week, had maybe 120 coaching clients, was training twice a day for a bodybuilding show at the time. Like, it's hard. But the reality is that the more progress you get, the easier it becomes as we develop and we get more skills. So when we look at setting goals for next year, one of the most beautiful things we can use now is AI. So here's an example of a prompt I would use to set financial targets for next year. So as an example, in 2024, my business made £1 million of revenue and 400K profit. In 2025, my goal is to increase both of these by 50% by the end of 2025. Please give me a clear breakdown of financial revenue and profit goals over 2025 with staggered growth. My business is in the fitness industry, so we have quieter months through June to August, and we're business in the months from November to February. Make this as if you were a consultant at JP Morgan. It's a good idea. They're pretty smart, right? This would be an example in terms of how it comes through, and it's a little bit small on the screen, but give you a revenue target over the year, profit target, and it'll break it down quarterly, monthly, and it's a really good way to frame this out over the year. Now, I know JP said yesterday not setting goals. If you want to be successful, you need to set goals. So it's slightly counter what you can say. The thing I would say to that as a caveat, which is something I've had to learn, is it's okay not to hit goals. I would rather you guys here set audacious, massive goals and you really fucking had to go, than you set really safe ones of, oh, I want to get like 5% growth next year. Like we have online businesses that you can scale rapidly, so you can be aggressive in terms of how you want to break this down. Just look at the numbers where you're at. Dom, wherever you are, we spoke beforehand, I was like, you need to set a bigger goal. Where is he? Over there. I was like, yeah, you can do slightly higher than that. Like, give yourself a little nudge for an extra 10, 20%, and it will make you take more action and put more into the business. Now we know the goal. So we have business goals, and I also look at personal goals for 2025. So what I want everyone in this room to do is write down 3 in each category, 3 things financially you want, 3 physical things you want, like you want a car, you want a house, you want a watch, you want whatever, and 3 things you maybe want in your relationships and your health. So the body you want, partner you want kids, you want family, whatever it is. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. And with these, go wild. So imagine you had childlike curiosity and you could have whatever you want. So if you want a G-Wagon, put that down. If you want to live on the palm, put that down. Like, have really big goals, even if you think you can't achieve them yet. And even if you want to put that as like, this is a future goal and this is a goal for the next 12 months, that's a good way to frame it. And what you'll see with a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about today, and this gets better the longer you do this type of stuff, is the visualization process. When you set a goal, you achieve it. And ironically, the photo of me there with the 2 Common Club Awards, I don't know if anyone knows Tanner Chichester. I remember when I was an estate agent, I saw him having photos. I was like, those are fucking baller. I want some of those. And I visualized in my head that I wanted to get that award, put that on my vision board, and I ended up getting them. Same thing I'll show you in a minute, but is the 2 Common Club X Award for doing over 10 million in sales. I had that on my vision board this year to get. We got that. Cool, give it another 60 seconds. So with these, just go top of head, like you should know, have a gut instinct in terms of what you want, and they should almost just like fly straight off. Like first reaction. It's like gut instinct with something, you know something, if you want something or not. Does anyone have anything they want to share? Or comfortable sharing? Adrian, looking at you.
In my first 50,000 euro
Okay, that's very realistic. That's good. Anyone else? James?
Buy some land and buy to build my dream home.
That's it.
Yeah, you said go, man.
Yeah, let's go big. Go big. We want to hit big things. We don't want small goals. Anyone else? Zibia?
My apartment in Marina Gate, 70th floor, and my yacht, my personal private yacht, and a series of my Mercedes-Benz.
Cool.
The adventures.
70th floor is very specific. It's good to be specific to some degree. Well, one more. Anyone else want to share anything? Tanner?
I want to reach 500,000 YouTube subscribers.
Sick. How many you got at the moment?
272.
Okay. Sick. All right. And a fixed foot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. Cool. So once we have an idea in terms of the goals we want, this is probably one of the most powerful things you can do that you see every single day, and it's create a vision board. Now, again, I mentioned at the start of this that there was a lot of things I used to believe in that I thought was a crock of shit, to be honest with you. The reality is the small things you see every day have a massive influence on your thoughts and your decisions. So that's an example of the vision board I have on the left-hand side. A lot of the stuff I achieved there on this year, like the car, 2 Common Club Bucks award. I want to get 100K subs on YouTube. That's definitely not happened yet. But a lot of those things have been ticked off, and it's just visual prompts, like subconsciously reminding me of what I want. So what I would do is I would take those things you want, put them into the vision board. The other thing that's really helped me, and who else ends up doing sometimes like computer roulette or like app roulette on their computer or the phone? Like you go looking for stuff and you're messing around, you're not really being productive, you're like working. Is I have a sticky note on my computer screen of like the 3 to 5 biggest goals I have for the year. And when I find like I'm not being productive, I look at that and okay, like you should actually get back to doing something you should be doing. So these are very powerful things that help. And some goals achieved this year: 2 Common Club Bucks award, bought a dream car, got best shape of my life, hit my year's net worth target I had. And then why you should do this is it's just constantly prompting you in terms of how you can have feedback loops and create momentum. So if you create a vision board for next year and then you start to tick things off, you will remember being in this room thinking like, Charlie said make a vision board, I'm not sure if I should do this. You make the vision board and you start to tick some of these things off and you think, whoa, I didn't think I could do that and I've done it. And that shows growth personally and also as a business, which is the most important thing. And that's how you build confidence into yourself, and then you also get massive momentum. So first we have to focus on who, not how. So we spoke a lot about how yesterday, but one of the biggest caps that's going to stop us is ourselves. And we're going to talk about time management shortly, but I'm going to talk about my personal process that's really helping me take things up another level. So firstly is getting the habit of getting up before the sun gets up every day. And interestingly, I tried to actually sleep in yesterday and today a bit because I'm going to be at the event, it'll be my feet all day long. I still wake up, I was wide awake at 5:30 because my body's just used to it now. So I'd say one of the most important things you need to do is get really diligent with getting up on time you go to bed, very, very important. Second thing is reading 5 to 10 pages of personal development book first thing in the morning. Don't look at your phone, I'm going to come on to that in a minute. Don't look at anything that's warping your brain and pulling you different distractions. You want to be present in your own head and actually thinking. Thirdly is write and reflect on yesterday, what worked, where I can improve, and just jot anything down. So like, for example, this morning I wrote about how I felt yesterday went, how I want you guys feel today, what do I want you guys to get out of it, how do I want to feel today? Like, actually think, because so many of us are drifting through life on autopilot. Fourthly, no phone access to start the day. This is probably the quickest way to rot your brain. I'm probably the worst person who has been triggered by this of like looking for quick dopamine of like, how much money did I make last night? Like, what's crypto doing? How many calls did we book? Like, you want to come off of that because that can trigger you really negatively first thing in the morning if you're in a low frequency. So you need to stop looking for those quick dopamine hits. And then fifthly is do like a hard workout every day or do something physically challenging. One of the reasons why this is so important is it puts you into like a flow state where you can't think of anything else at the time. Like if you're doing a barbell squat and you're maxing out, you're not thinking like, oh, what my Facebook ad CPA is. Like, you like, I don't want to die, so like, just get this up. And this is an important thing because it helps you clear your head. Who here has a personal process or something you do to like run your own habits every day? Cool. And the goal is get yourself into a high frequency first thing in the morning and be intentional with who you are and then try and carry that through the entire day. So I use the app Opal to block me from using WhatsApp, IG, Slack, and Facebook because I'll still do it. Like I'll open my phone, walk into my car to go to the gym, and like go to hit it, and then I can't because it's like blocked out. So like physically stop yourself going on these things if you find that you can't actually control yourself. Same thing if you've got a client who's struggling to lose weight, like you don't have junk food in the house. If you're addicted to your phone, like semi-guilty, then you need to put something in place as like a preventative measure. And a really good saying I like is our frequency is what we frequently see. So if you put yourself in a high frequency, you become that attractive character like Ryan Zoffe spoke about yesterday. More things just seem to like fall in lap. The reality is it's momentum in life, and a lot of that comes from like the positivity and the way you carry yourself into the world. And lastly, something I think about is like, don't do anything that will make you feel guilt. So like, you cheated on your diet, you drank alcohol when you didn't, you cut your workout a bit short, you're supposed to do like 8 intervals, you did 6, but like no one will really know. You subconsciously know, and this is where you have incongruence between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. If you're saying, I want to get in great shape, but then you're eating Doritos every day, or I want to build a big business and be really, really successful, and I'm in this room and I want to get to the next level and achieve the success some people in here have, but then you can't be bothered to get out of bed every morning and snoozing your alarm, that's going to cause massive, massive problems internally. So make sure you hold the promises to yourself, because this is what creates confidence. And this is what my perfect week would be like as a fit pro for people probably under 30 to 50K a month. So how we schedule ourselves out is very, very important. Who here struggles with time management? Anyone? Okay. So this is something I would write down. I don't manage time, I manage myself. Because if Elon Musk can build Tesla and SpaceX, you can run an online coaching business and scale it. And he also helped him win the US election, the Trump winning election. So like, I don't even know how he does it. I was on Joe Rogan for 4 hours and all the other stuff he does. It's like, you have time, it's just how you manage yourself, which is why this comes back to personal development. So if we look at how I would schedule this out, first thing in the morning, I would always do like most important tasks. So like, if you think of the Pareto principle that 20% of actions create 80% of results, what do you think we should do first thing in the morning? Focus on the 20%, or what's the big needle movers you need to be doing? So planning content, making content, messaging clients, whatever it might be. Second thing I would do with that is then probably work out. I would then go into probably building business or working on business tasks, and I would try and focus on sales calls for the rest of the afternoon. I would try to avoid meetings earlier on in the day. You want to have your most creative energy used when you're at peak performance. You don't want to be trying to do a mix of different tasks as well. And I'll show you an example in terms of how you scale your business. Your calendar is going to start to look very different. So as an example, this is my calendar, I think from last week or the other week. The bigger your business gets, almost the more white space you want. Now, this doesn't mean I'm not working, I work pretty much all the time, but it means I can be creative and I'm not getting back to back in terms of meetings, and I can focus on bigger projects that are really moving things forwards. What you also have to think about is not being as busy as possible, it's about being as efficient as possible. Because something we forget sometimes is we're actually human beings and we actually have an energy limit, right? So most of the bad decisions I've ever made in business have been when I'm really tired and I probably overworked myself. So I've just like, oh yeah, just do that. And you need to sometimes slow down to go faster. So like the Rolls Royce analogy is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You just want to keep that type of momentum. So as your business gets bigger, you almost want to try and pull yourself out of more stuff so you can focus on the bigger things that may be your zone of genius. The other way I'd frame that in terms of you running your team, I use Monday as like the sacrificial lamb in terms of all my meetings. I'll just try and palm into Monday from a team perspective. So I almost just like sacrifice that day of like, I'll just do as many as I can. That's like business management day, and the rest of the week I'll structure out and try and minimize meetings on creative days. So for example, Wednesday I would always try and focus on content because I'm not really training there. And the two biggest thought processes I can give you. You need to think more long-term and be more mature with your business. So people with bigger businesses aren't worried they've had a bad week, a bad month, they look in years. How has this year been? Like look back at last year. Actually, Don, we spoke about this earlier, right? You looked back at like your revenue weren't happy with a certain month. You looked back at last year, like, well, that actually would have been a PB last year. Reflecting back is a very important tool because this is all in your head and it's trying to keep your head screwed on to keep consistent. Most people don't have an intensity issue, they have a consistency issue. So if you can constantly turn up every day, even at 80% or even probably 60%, you'll beat a lot of people who are really consistent, who do 90 to 100%. The second thing is removing the stock market mentality with your business. So like the up and down, and your energy is going with that, and your decision making is going through that. And I've been through that many, many times, but this is one of the most important things you need to like understand, is get yourself into like an equilibrium where you're like a steady ground. With that, you then want to focus on identifying the point of constraint in the business. And you can only do that if you can think clear-headedly and actually have some clarity and you're not like in an anxious state. So 4 big examples that most people have in terms of why their business is scaling. 1 is a lack of traffic and awareness. 2 is a poor closing percentage of calls. 3 is a high churn. And 4 would be like low LTV of clients and not maximizing the revenue per of them. And how do we identify this? We actually look at the numbers and constantly evaluate and look for feedback loops. Not enough people actually sit down and look at their business thinking like, what's actually going on? And this is where one of the most important things you do is have a weekly review with yourself every single week. So I personally sit down on a Sunday morning and I'll run through a specific set of questions. So there's 10 questions to ask. Number 1, rate last week on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing. 2, what was your biggest priority last week? 3, did you accomplish it? And if not, why not? 4, what did you learn last week? 5, what were your biggest business highlights last week? So instantly you're starting to think, you're like, oh, I did this was sick, I did this was sick, or maybe this didn't work that well. Because a lot of the time we beat ourselves up, we're not making like progress yet. But one of the ultimate things with business is delayed gratification. The stuff we're doing right now, some of it we'll see some rewards in the next few weeks, like the Black Friday stuff, you can make money right now. But a lot of these things is going to be like a long tail. It probably takes 10 to 12 weeks to get some of the returns on these things, which is why most people struggle with business. Next questions would be 6, what was your biggest obstacle? 7, what did you need to solve it? What was your biggest personal highlight last week? And what 2 to 3 big priorities need to happen this week to make it a success? This is a very, very important question to ask. Literally look at your business, think of where you're at, what's not working, where am I struggling, how can I fix it? Number 10, what do you need to help with and who do you need to contact? So who within 7-figure scaling systems is best at solving this problem? Who can help with the ads, who can help with maybe sales? Whatever the problem is, as I said yesterday, 2 things solve problems, right? Money and people. So really think of that framework, because that's how you collapse time. And that's how I've moved 2 businesses forward very, very quickly and went from leaving my job as an estate agent 25th of February 2019. The app I use for this is the Day One app. I actually use my iPad. So I have a template of questions. I put those questions into a template and it's really, really good exercise. I sit on a balcony, do that. I'll just sit somewhere outside. Again, don't look at your phone beforehand. Don't look at Slack. Don't look at anything. Just let your head be clear and just think consciously. The secret sauce to this though is check in externally with someone else, because what most people don't realize is you have blind spots, things you can't even see. Like even some of the things Ryan's face said yesterday, I was like, that's really interesting. I haven't even thought about it from that perspective. And that gives you a bigger field of awareness, and that's how you move forward a lot faster. So now the who is fixed, we're gonna look at the how. So we can look at 2025 promotion calendar. So one of the most important things we need to do is look ahead of what's actually going on next year. What do we need to be doing in terms of content? What do we need to be doing in terms of promotions? Are we going to be doing events in our fitness business? Where are you going to do those? How can I maximize everything we do? So what that's basically look like, here's some examples in terms of the ones you could run. So January, we do new year, new you channels. Sorry, new year, new you. That's a tongue twister. Back to routine. February, you've got Valentine's Day, President's Day weekend in the US. Basically, we map out all the big holidays. You can take photos. I can share the slides afterwards as well. March, spring into fitness, a bit cheesy. St. Patrick's Day. If you have an Irish community from Ireland, that's a very good idea. Also, certain parts of the US that works very well. Just let anyone else take a photo of that if you want to. Cool. April, you can actually see how many things there are. You can actually say around, it's insane. Easter promo, there's an Earth Day. You can do, depending on your niche, if you like vegan market, that might be quite a good one. May, you've got Mother's Day, Memorial Day in the US. June, you've got the start of summer. You've also got Father's Day. Just let anyone take a photo of that. You actually see how many sales opportunities over the year. It's insane. Like you can literally just sell something every 2 weeks. But I would try and find what fits your niche best. July, Independence Day, 4th of July is a big one. If you sell to the US, that crushes. Midsummer sale, if you wanted to do that. August, back to school for the end of that. End of summer, Labor Day weekend again, and then like a fall into fitness, late September. October, Fittober, Halloween. November, you've got pre-holidays, Black Friday, obviously we spoke about that in depth. And then December, obviously December countdown. I'll give you guys a secret as well, so this is something that could be a good idea to do. We are doing this ourselves, we're doing the 12 days of Giftmas. The first 12 days of December, we're doing 12 reels of just like league magnets, just giving insane value. So that might be something you could do as well. Not necessarily a promotion, but we will then sell the back end of that, just to give as much value as possible until you go into a peak period of time. Now, how do you execute all these promotions? Now you've got your head in gear, you need a great team. Like, know what, like, Ryan obviously does very well pretty much on his own, slight unicorn. 99, maybe Wes Watson's probably the other person I can think of, but 99.9% of the people, you need a team if you want to get rid of the golden handcuffs of you having to do everything. And poor hiring is one of the bigger reasons people don't scale, and that's actually one of the big pain points a lot of you guys have in here. And a lot of that comes from rushing things and not being in the right energy, in the right headspace when you're interviewing people. And two of the big roles we hire for, one are setters. That's hard, right? It's difficult to get people to come into your DMs who are competent. Two is closers, debatably even harder. And what I want you guys to think about is like a different framework with how you treat these people. So I think about setters almost like as your regular army, and then closers are like the special forces. They have to have a very unique skill set. They're probably pretty weird in a lot of respects. They're a bit out there. Anyone who has worked with a lot of salespeople, you'll see they tend to be maybe certain character traits, probably quite egotistical, but you just go with that. If you think about people in the Navy, like Chris, you're in the Army, can you relate to this?
Absolutely.
Hey, bro, there you go. Like, the people who are probably like the SAS stuff are insane, probably, right?
They are.
Yeah, there you go. So, like, people who go into like the special forces, they're going to be special. That's why they use the word, right? So this is the same for closers. So they have very unique skill sets, but also need to be treated that way. You need to identify like this when you're interviewing them. And you want all your team members to love your business. If you have anyone in your business who's not congruent with what you do, not fully bought in, they need to go. Like, if they're not 100% in, they're like dipping the toe in, you need to replace them. Because you deep down know that person's not going to be there in 6 to 12 months. You're just not willing to have them comfortable conversations to get rid of them. And hands up, like Aidan will admit to this, like, we've done that far too many times. We've let people coast for longer than we should have done before we've kicked them out. And that's why we've cleaned house with a lot of people probably over the last 6 to 9 months. And then what you'll find is if you have the analogy one bad apple will ruin the bag, or rot the bag, all the other people start to improve rapidly because you haven't got someone who's pulling the bag. The other thing we look at is you want people to have a major pride in your business of being the best in the industry. You want to create a competitive culture where they take pride in how fast they respond to clients, how they communicate people, like their attention to detail, dependability, like Aidan mentioned, is one of our core values. And number two, it's like when you're building the brand, think like a nation state. Think about Dubai, right? Like you can feel the brand they're building here with this country, the messaging they put out, the way things are done. Even if you go and get like your Emirates ID made, for example, there's like a robot in the thing that runs around. Like everything is done to a very high standard. So think about that with your business and the people in it. And then three, when you have team members in your business, they have to see how they can achieve their goals of what they want in life within your business. And you as the entrepreneur, that's your job to set a vision, have big goals, so that they can see how they can achieve the things they want in life. And if you don't know what your team members want or what they value, which a lot of times is not actually monetary, then you're not going to maximize the performance out of them. They're also not going to stay for a very long period of time. If you enjoyed this clip and you're a business owner, content creator, or coach, and you want help in terms of exactly how to scale your business to the next level using ads, AI, VSLs, setters, and building teams to basically monetize your business and monetize your knowledge, but without you having to press all the buttons, it's never been easier than before. What we can do is we can walk through the whole process in terms of how we're doing this over and over and over again with content creators, with business owners. If you hit the link at the bottom of this video, you can book a call with us and the team. We can audit your whole business, show you where the bottlenecks are, and show you exactly how we can scale. And if we think you're a good fit to work with us, we can show you what that looks like too.